My name's Aaron McFarland. I'm with the City of Verona. I'm the construction engineer on site. Theron is on vacation this week, so I'll be running through the meeting. So this is the City of Verona East Side Interceptor Sewer and MMSD Pumping Station 17 Force Main. Progress meeting number 8. It is Wednesday, the 18th, August 18th, 2021. Meeting logistics. If you're participating by phone, you will only be able to listen to the presentation. Raise hand feature, do not use it during the presentation. At the end, I'll answer questions. So at that point, raise your hand and I'll allow you to speak via Zoom. Muted till your time to speak. Provide opportunity for all participants who wish to speak. Try to limit questions to 2 minutes. To maximize the presentation on your screen, move the bar in the middle of the views. Agenda, went through instructions, presenters and team, schedule updates, the Badger Mill Creek restoration updates, communication, websites, and then any questions. Presenters, myself, Aaron McFarland, from the City of Verona. The other individuals who aren't here, Eric Jellin with MMSD, and then Dane County is Sarah Riggleman and Teresa Nelson. The intent of the progress meeting is to provide an update on the upcoming construction schedule, construction related items, as well as Badger Mill Creek Restoration Project, both the Dane County segments and the City of Verona segments. Project team consists of the City of Verona and Madison Metropolitan Sewage District, Dane County Parks and Land and Water Resource Department, Short Elliott Hendrickson, the designer. Minger Construction is the general contractor, and they have various subcontractors. City of Verona and district staff are performing construction inspection. So the updated schedule, here is a snapshot of the 3-week look ahead. Right now we are on the 18th, middle of the week. So they are continuing on the City of Verona stream bank excavation and boulder placement. And then they'll be moving on towards the Dane County portion after that's complete. And then I'm gonna jump over to the section views. As shown before. Okay, share. All right, so you should be seeing the section views. So on the south end of the project, everything's completed, everything's tied in, and existing abandonments are done. So next week, Minger is planning to perform the City of Verona stream bank restoration in this portion. It's kind of right up through the Fireman's Park, kind of local A connection, we call it. And then following that, in the next couple of weeks, seed restoration will be completed on the banks. And then there's some local tie-ins like up by the Carnes and then Fireman's Park and some miscellaneous areas that will be taken care of after that stream bank is completed. So moving to the north or east in the central segment, that's where Minger is currently working on the stream bank City of Verona portions from County M up to Lincoln Street. They're doing some grading, rock deflectors, and some boulder clusters. We got a little portion over here, kind of by the horseshoe, that they'll be completing end of this week. Most likely we'll be able to get that done this week. And then in the future, after that's complete, they'll do some path grading in this area and then paving the path and final restoration. There are a few storm sewer items that will be completed, and those are planned in the next 2 to 3 weeks or so, kind of depending on when additional crews are available. Once path grading and paving occur, the Lincoln Street path from Hillcrest to Lincoln Street will need to be closed for a duration to accommodate grading and paving. Going all the way to the north segment, all the way to the east end of the project, Some existing abandonments still need to occur. They're slowly chipping away at those. And then once the city of Verona stream bank grading and in-stream items are completed, they'll move towards the Dane County stream bank project. So that is anticipated that they'll be in the Dane County portion, not next week, but the week following. So that 3-week look ahead, it got pushed a little bit. So that concludes that. So I'll stop sharing that and get back to the presentation. So here where they have Dane County starting middle of next week, that most likely will push a few days and be into the following week. So, oops. Okay, so traffic closures. There's no road closures at this point or for the remainder of the project. The Ice Age Trail closure and detour are still ongoing. That will be ongoing till the project is completed. Lincoln Street pedestrian bridge and path, as stated, that will need to be closed again for path grading and paving. There'll be barricades put up and we'll send out a notice for that. So getting into the stream bank restoration, I'll just briefly run through the Dane County portion. And if you have any questions, I can try to answer that, or I'll defer those to Sarah. Project location, Lincoln Street to Highway PB, Badger Prairie Community Gardens. There's in-street trout habitat improvements, log deflectors and log sills, root wads and rock deflectors, grading and berm removals for floodplain reconnection. The plan revised to adjust for quantities of woody material available for construction of the log sills, what was taken out when they cleared and grubbed. More root wads versus log sills will be installed upstream from Lincoln Street Bridge on the north side of the stream. Anticipating construction is now going to be the end of August and then into September. So the floodplain reconnection, berm removal. So this is some of a depiction of what's going on with the grading areas. The dashed line is the existing grade, and the darker bold line is kind of the general idea of the proposed grading. They'll slope it back and allow for the floodplain reconnection in areas behind that. There's quite a few areas that have these berms and locations throughout the project. Some in-stream trout habitats. These are the log deflectors and sills. On the upper left is a plan detail kind of showing key elements and how far they go back. And then on the lower right is kind of a actual installation. This is, I believe, on the Sugar River south of Verona. So there'll be quite a few of these going in, and the contractors will be working with Dane County as well as these are going in. Another one are rock deflectors. We are putting these on the city of Verona portion as well. They're kind of shown here where it's just kind of a bump out of kind of larger boulders or medium riprap kind of embedded back into the bank and below the water. It'll kind of deflect water and get a location for habitat. Root wads, here's another depiction. They get keyed into the bank, and the actual like kind of root area actually will stick out of the bank a little bit. On site, there's some pretty decent sized root wads, so hopefully everything should work out well with that. Once construction gets going on our next progress meeting, there'll be some more pictures of our project in here. All right, to the city portion of the Badger Mill Creek stream restoration. The proposed improvements are stream bank regrading and restoration segments on the east side of the creek, kind of towards where the interceptor sewer was going in. It consists of in-stream rock deflectors, in-stream boulders, the schedule. Everything has been approved and they started construction. It'll most likely be done in the next week and then with restoration of the banks done following that. The final restoration after the path will take place at a later date, but the stuff at the creek and along the banks will be restored within the next couple weeks. So here's a kind of a plan view of the locations. Here's down by Bruce Street. That's where they're going to be moving to, anticipated to be there early next week. This portion here, kind of by the Badger Mill Creek Horseshoe, is where they're going to be moving next. That consists of grading. That should take a day or so. And then they are working along this segment, and they have some grading to do, and they're currently putting the last couple rock deflectors and boulder clusters in. And then a note here, Friends of Badger Mill Creek were notified via email on April 1st, 2021 of this plan. All right, here are some actual photos of the items going in. On the upper left is the plan detail that was shown in previous presentations. The green arrows are pointing out the rock deflectors and then as well as like the boulder clusters. So on the upper right-hand picture, that's kind of a picture depicting the rock deflector. You can see kind of some of them in the water here, and then up above the water, there's a little bit of grading that will need to be occurring like after to fill in this little gap here. And on the bottom left, the three boulder clusters. These were fairly large boulders that got placed in here, but they're kind of shown in this type of spacing here. There's different spacing, different configurations at different locations. And then the grading, the upper left here shows kind of the plan for grading. The slope will be slope back at a 4-to-1. There's portions of the stream bank that will be a 3-to-1. But the brown arrow is pointing to the dash line. That's the existing grade. So you can kind of see in the lower right-hand corner how this has been kind of peeled back, and all that excess material is now back here that will get either graded, along the corridor and along the path. All right, communication. The next meeting will be September 15th, 2021 at 5 p.m. Monthly Zoom meetings, third Wednesday of the month at 5 p.m. starting at January 20th, and last meeting will occur September 15th. So the next meeting is the planned last meeting. The meeting will include a schedule update on the project and open dialogue for questions. Here's the Zoom link, or you can dial in by phone. There'll be schedule updates. Staff will answer questions on construction progress. The website also has a Zoom link. Questions are encouraged. And here's the website, and then these arrows are pointing to where you can find the project and links. Click on it, you can find the information in there. Dane County's websites, you can go to the What We Do tab and go to the active projects to get information about Dane County's portion. All right, with that said, here's the project contacts, and then I'll open it up to any questions. So I see Tim Spencer has a question I will allow to talk. So you should be able to go ahead, Tim.
Thanks. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, two questions. One, are there plans to put lights along that paved path?
I do not believe there are any plans for lights.
So then there's like wires sticking up out of the ground at regular intervals. I think
So,
they're like PVC pipes. What are those for?
Yep. So those are actually they're tracer wires for the force main. And there's going to be locator posts at those locations. They'll put those in once kind of the grading's complete. If you look between Bruce Street and Main Street, you'll see some green posts kind of sticking up. Those are what will be placed there. Those are for MMSD to locate the force main.
Okay, thanks. And then can I ask another question?
Yeah, go ahead.
So you talk about the restoration of along the creek. east and north of Lincoln Street being in Dane County. But who actually owns the land along the creek right next to Lincoln Street Bridge going
Well,
north?
yeah, so the Dane County project, I don't know off the top of my head. I'd have to look into that, but I believe Dane County owns a good portion of that. And, we might City of Verona might own some of that as well, but
Okay.
I
I was
I
thinking it
don't,
was the cities and they just acquired it, but I keep hearing you reference it as the Dane County.
yeah, that's their project portion starts at Lincoln Street there.
Okay.
The actual property limits, I'd have to look into that. I don't know that off the top of my head.
Okay. That's it. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Okay, it looks like in the question and answer, Sam asked, how do we get a notice when they close Lincoln Street pedestrian bridge to regrade? So what we did prior to that, we sent out a notice on our Facebook page, I believe. And then I will also put up, what I did before is put up trail closed barricades, and I'll have a little kind of a sign on there that say, hey, we'll close it from this date to this date. That the dates are kind of have to be fluid just to allow for, unknowns and contractors to get in there. But we'll try to give at least a, week notice, I would say, on our Facebook page for that. And anybody else have any other questions? I can maybe give me a second. I can bring up our GIS quick here and see if I can give you an answer, Tim. Yeah, so it looks like kind of by Lincoln Street, according to our GIS, that's City of Verona. And then once there's kind of a little ways up there, then it turns to Dane County. It appears to be.
Okay.
So I don't know exactly those limits. It's quite where that Lincoln Street channel is. It looks like it's west of there is kind of the property line limits. So.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. Right. Okay, I guess if there's no other questions, I will end the presentation. Thank you.